Business success, folks, is about showing up. Whether you're showing up for your team, your clients, or your staff. You have to be there, you have to be confident, and yeah, you even have to act sometimes.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris. Another mini-sode for you. Last week, we talked about the real key to success. We talked about principles, success principles, principles of prosperity. And we asked the question, which one is the most important? And I alluded to this week, letting you know that we're going to talk about the second most important key to success. I'm going to share that with you and share with you the reasons why I feel it is so important. But first, want to remind you of another important thing, and that's ANOW software. ANOW is the opportunity for you to be able to learn more about your business and to manage it from top to bottom with ease. ANOW.com is where you find out more. It's ANOW.com. All right, folks, we're going to talk today about the second most key to success. Now, let's be honest. I mean, you might be able to go back in the episodes. I've got, 700 plus, right? You might be able to find number 300. I'm just throwing out a number. 351. And you said, Dustin, you said the second best key to success was such and such, right? Okay. Maybe this isn't a science. But as I think about the principles of success, I can think of two that are absolutely crucial for your progress. Number one, again, we talked about last week, and that is action, right? You can't get anything done unless you take action. You can talk about it all day long, but until you actually move in the right direction, nothing gets done. We all have great ideas. I talked last week about, standing in the shower, having a bright idea, then you towel off, get dressed, and it's lost. You do nothing with it. Folks, what's the purpose of that light bulb moment if you don't actually take advantage of the light that it puts in the room? In other words, if you don't utilize that light to do something about it. I will tell you, 98% of the world says, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to take action. I'm very happy with my Netflix series that I'm watching right now, and that's good enough for me, right? And folks, again, I that's not to be critical of that decision. If your day-to-day looks like this, where you're getting up and you're punching the clock and maybe working late hours, but you're happy where you're at, great. This episode is not for you. But if you are like so many and you want more, you want to be successful, you're pushing yourself to be better, right? Take action. Don't just come up with ideas, but actually take action. And that doesn't mean you should be stupid. I had somebody reach out to me after the last episode, and they said, Dustin, I'm paraphrasing, but you shouldn't take action on every single thing that you think about. Right? I get that, folks. Obviously. You're not going to think, boy, it'd be really cool to lasso the moon. And all of a sudden you start, you go out to your garage and you take a rope and you start to, make sure it's long enough. And come on. Let's be honest. There's certain things that after thinking through them and the pros and the cons, and by the way, this happens all the time to successful people. You have an idea, and you start to map it out, you start to develop a business plan, you start to look at the finances, and you start to look at what the competition is doing, and you start to looking at what actions that will need to be taken and what resources will be needed. And sometimes you say, you know what, that was a good idea, but I can see why nobody's doing it. It really doesn't make a lot of sense right now. Maybe down the road. I'm going to shelf that, and I'm going to look at it later on, right? Nothing at all wrong with that. What I'm talking about is the great ideas that you often let pass by because you simply, let's be honest, we're too lazy, right? We think about things, but the effort involved to get there is difficult. I'll give you a great example. Most of us already know what we need to do to be successful in our business. Let me repeat that. Most of us already know and understand what actions are required to get from here to there, right? But we don't take action because there's no accountability. A lot of what I do as a coach is accountability. Yes, we come up with some great ideas together. Yes, we talk through what we want, what we don't want, what it's going to take to get there. And yes, I spend a lot of time helping people take the steps, right? Dustin, I need to get a website, but help me. I don't know. Should I go with WordPress? Should I go with WebEx? Should I go with, there's so many things I could do. Squarespace, what should I do, right? So we talk through, and maybe we talk through the fundamental action steps that need taken to get there. But for the most part, what I do is help share and bring out the principles that you already know, and then ask you what steps you need to take. And here's the key: following up. If you're going to meet with me for a coaching six-pack, right, and I give you some homework on course number or meeting number 2, you better believe yourself that meeting number 3, the first thing we're going to say is, okay, John, let's talk about your homework for last time. How are you doing with number 1? How are you doing with number 2? What's going on with number 3? What's keeping you from that? What can we do to get you over that hurdle? Oh, number 4 no longer is applicable. Great. Let's move on. Let's set some other goals for next time. In other words, accountability will help us to move down the path that we need to take. All right. That is all to set things up for today's episode, which is what is the second most key to success? This might come as a surprise to you, but I'm going to get a little vulnerable with you today and share with you what I feel has been a huge part of my success moving forward. And as I look at other successful business people, both male and female, I find that this is very much universally true. Now, when I tell you what the key to success is, you're going to say, well, Dustin, I don't have that. That's not what I was born. I'm not born with that natural talent. Okay, folks, I'm telling you, I see all kinds of successful people that are not born with this successful, quote unquote, ability that I'm about to share, that can develop it and that can do it and that are amazing at it. Are you ready? All right, I'm going to let you wait till after the break. First, I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by Anow software. Anow, of course, is part of this success picture. It's the ability for you to work on your business, not always in your business, and that is key to success. Anow helps you to do that because guess what? You keep track of everything. You see where the assembly line is, and most importantly, you see what the numbers are. At the end of the month, at the end of the week, at the end of the day, you know exactly where you are so that you know what decisions you need to make moving forward. I know it sounds simple, folks, and it is. It's easy to run, but the numbers are powerful. And they will make or break your success. I believe that. Check it out. Go to anow.com, ANOW.com, and use the coupon code podcast30 for a 30% discount for the first 3 months. Again, it's podcast30 at anow.com. Alrighty, we're talking today about the second most key to success. Last week we talked about the real key to success, which I believe is taking action. Are you ready for the second most key to success? It might be a surprise to you, maybe not. It's confidence. That's right. It's confidence. It's having confidence in yourself. Now, this is very closely related to action, right? Because if you don't have confidence in your idea, if you don't have confidence in your game plan, if you don't have confidence in the principles of success, you're not going to take action, right? But I'm talking about not just having confidence in your ideas, but having confidence in general and the way that you present yourself to the world. Let me share with you a personal story that I believe is one of the biggest keys to my success. In fact, one of the reasons that prompted this particular episode was that about a week and a half ago, I was talking with my wife, and my wife is in the process of possibly, she's still making the decision, but is almost there, possibly deciding to try out for a musical. It's a local musical. It's not like she's trying out for Broadway. Sound of Music. And it's in a local community theater, and she and I actually got to know each other, believe it or not, on stage. Yeah, this is where I get a little vulnerable. You can throw darts, you can make fun, whatever. Okay, yes, I grew up in a drama family. We grew up in theater. I spent a lot of time in the theater. Both my mom and my dad were very much involved in the theater. Not necessarily musicals, but theater, right? And spent a lot of time doing that. Took some drama classes in high school, and when I was in high school, I played Harold Hill. The Music Man, yes. And my future wife, the wife that I have now, my one and only, was the opposite of me, and she was playing Marion the Librarian. Yes, if you've seen the show, I was Harold Hill, and she was the librarian. And yes, we kissed on stage. Amazing, right? And the rest is history. But she has not been in a production for, well, that's not true. I mean, local church production, she did a couple things here, a couple things there, but not really a major musical production since that time. That's a long time ago, folks. That's a long, I'm not going to tell you how many years, but that's a long time ago that we were involved in that. So you know what? I'm proud of her. Taking a step, moving forward, doing the thing that she is wonderful at. She's an amazing singer, amazing actress. She'll do great. Now, we were talking about this and you know what this means for our family, and our youngest that's still at home is thinking about trying out as well. And one of the things I said to her, because it does take a lot of time, right? You go to practices, and you've got dress rehearsals, and then you've got the production, and then of course even after that's done, you've got cast part. It's a very involved thing when you're involved in a production like this. If you've ever been involved, you know what I mean. It takes up your life for a period of 3 months, right, from start to finish. And we were talking about that and what that means for our family, and we're going to have the time we need together, and blah blah blah. And I said, babe, here's the deal. I look back at my experiences in drama, and say what you want about them. I know some people say my experiences in sports was what shaped my life. I absolutely believe that, right? And I was involved in every sport you can imagine when I was growing up, right? But if I looked back and the thing that caused me to have the success that I've had, if I could point to it, right? Other than the first principle, the real key to success, as we talked about last week, which is action, taking action, it would be confidence. And I gained that confidence in the theater. I gained that confidence on the stage. Let me give you an example. Right out of high school, I was hired in Jackson Hole to be in Summer Stock Theater. This is a theater that every single night, 7 days a week, we performed some type of a drama production. People would come in from all over the world, and they would pay money, and they would sit in the theater, and we would entertain them, right? And it was a great experience. It lasted about 3.5, 4 months, and it was a great experience for me. But one of the things that I learned, that when you're doing this 7 days a week, by the way, there was a period of time when I did not see the sun go down for, I think, 2.5 months, right? Because I was in the theater every single night at that time. And that can be depressing, by the way. I found a way during scenes or between scenes to actually see the sun set at one point because I missed it so much. But here's the thing, folks. I could have the worst day of my life. And at 5 o'clock p.m., I better show up. I better show up with bells on. I better show up with a smile on my face, because there are people that pay good money that if they walk in that theater and they can tell I had a bad day, they're going to have a bad day, and they're not going to be happy that they paid for that bad day, if you know what I mean. So part of drama, part of the acting, if you will, was the fact that I had to show up. Was the fact that when I showed up for curtain call every night at 5 o'clock, I better, no matter what happened during the day, I better be there, I better be present, and I better be able to give it my all. One of the things that I found is that no matter how bad my day was, I may not want to, but I could show up. And I could bring my confidence, and nobody in that theater would tell that I had a bad day. That taught me a great deal, believe it or not, that helps me in business. Business success, folks, is about showing up. Whether you're showing up for your team, your clients, or your staff. You have to be there, you have to be confident, and yeah, you even have to act sometimes, right? And I have found that this ability to have confidence and move forward despite what kind of day that you've had is absolutely crucial to your success. And that's why I call it the second most key to success. Now, let me address the idea that, Dustin, you can't just choose to have confidence. And I would agree with that, right? It's not something you're born with, but I absolutely am a believer that it is something that you can develop. And there are things that you can do to develop it, right? Public speaking would be one of them. Well, Dustin, I'm just not a public speaker. Right, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Book something and do it. Well, Dustin, I'm not an actor. I'm not going to try out for. Okay, great. Book it and do it and see what it does for you. I absolutely am a believer that if you will move forward, taking the first principle from last week and the second principle from today and put them together, the real key to success is action, and doing so with confidence will actually build your confidence, and you will find that moving forward with action will become much easier for you. Folks, I would love to help you with this or anything else that you're dealing with in your business. Personal coaching is available. I've got slots available right now for individuals who are ready to finally dive in, to finally say, okay, Dustin, I've listened to you for years. It's time for me to take action, to have confidence moving forward. Would love to hold your hand through that process. Check me out on the web, theappraisercoach.com, and go to the coaching tab and book a session. Would love to get to know you, your business, and help you to move forward.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.